Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to News for the Unemployed, where we discuss things that I just come across on Twitter. I have curated the craziest, most in-depth Twitter feed I think you could possibly create nowadays. This is President Trump discussing the possibility of declassifying everything with regards to alien life. Let's just play this clip real fast.
Are you able to give us an update on that? Declassify almost everything. And you know, by the way, we have...
I think that's probably all he's going to say. The truth of the matter is, and I don't mean to sound like a chud, I really don't, but nothing ever happens. It might happen foreign policy wise, but when it comes to stuff like this, when it comes to understanding the true nature of human history, nothing ever happens. They're not going to reveal jack shit with regards to aliens. This is the type of stuff that they reveal. They're just going to reveal more YouTube videos. That's what they're going to do. This is a video taken in northeastern United States in July of 2025. It's the orbs, guys. They're just going to show us the orbs. They're going to show us the plasma emitting orbs that fly around the sky and do whatever they want to do. Some of them are probably man-operated. Now, this is stuff that humans have seen since the dawn of time. The Anunnaki, have you ever heard of them? Have you ever heard of the Book of Ezekiel? There's anomalies that have existed within our sky, and the truth of the matter is, it's like we just need mommy and daddy's permission to confirm whether or not they're real. Here's another article on Yahoo News. It's about Dave Grush, who is a huge whistleblower with regards to the UAP programs. He says that the United States has recovered non-human biologics and materials from crashes around the world. And that's kind of my main point with this, ladies and gentlemen. They'll tell us that the orbs are in the sky. Yeah, there's orbs, ladies and gentlemen, there's orbs. But when you ask what these aliens actually are, it's just going to be radio silence. They're never going to tell us that, because if they tell us that, then our whole view on the universe and where we are, it's just going to evaporate. We're just going to start turning on the government. We're going to stop eating seed oils from DoorDash. We're going to stop watching Euphoria. And now everyone's just going to be discussing what humanity actually is. And it's funny, in this article, they mentioned Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. I've seen the movie. It's a much more philosophical movie. It more so talks about how aliens supposedly interact with certain segments of the population. And what I'm getting at is, if these aliens, and this is just a snug bro news for the unemployed take, don't write home about this. If these aliens have not conquered us physically, if these aliens interfere with our nuclear activity as a means of preserving ourselves, that these aliens, this extraterrestrial life, is all spiritual in nature. I think there's a lot about human history that they've kind of just blotted out. Have you ever heard of the Empire of Tartaria? Have you ever heard about the mud flood? Who the fuck built the pyramids? You know what I mean? We're at that point in human history where now that we have the internet, we got to start asking questions, and we got to start holding these people accountable like Dave Grush supposedly has, and get the information out to the masses, because the old world order is dying. Whether it be boomers getting too old, whether it be a potential economic crash in the not so distant future, the old world is dying. The new world order is being built up, whatever that may be. And in order for humanity to prosper and progress from our current situation, I think it's about time, we start actually getting more information about what this biological alien life could be. We got another story, ladies and gentlemen. PlayStation is cooked. It's over. It's over, guys. It's all over. They're coming out with the PS6 eventually, and there's no disc drive. Yeah, so physical media is dead. Every YouTuber that has made a video in the 2010s talking about the end of physical media, they're all right, because the writing was on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are going to keep cutting costs, and it's like, honestly, who goes into a GameStop? Like, actually, who goes into a GameStop and buys games? I know I'm making a huge general assumption, but I think the majority of people don't buy physical games. And we have to understand that these companies, they're trying to make as much money as possible. So, like, we can be pissed off about them not having physical game support for the PlayStation 6 or potentially the Xbox Scarlet. I don't know if that's still called that. But what can we possibly do about that? Because the PlayStation, supposedly, and I think it talks about in this article, I might just edit something over top of this, but the PlayStation 6 is supposedly going to cost upwards to $1,000, or just an absurd amount of money. I mean, the Steam Deck's going to cost around roughly $1,000. So things are getting expensive as it is, because dude, we're playing advanced games now, but we're at the point where we can't get around this outdated hardware. We got to keep upgrading. We got to keep evolving. We got to keep pushing the boundaries for games. Look, we got to find solutions in order to make it as accessible as possible. I'm not trying to say that everything that Sony is doing right now with this news is good. In a perfect world, physical games should continue to be supported. I mean, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I got like a I got a lot of games, ladies and gentlemen. I got Call of Duty, I got Angry Birds, and it's physical. I like popping in the discs, ladies and gentlemen. I like doing that. It's just what I do. So this Twitter account called Third Meta raises some good points, you know. Not only are normal people affected, but you know who's really affected? What the fuck happens to GameStop? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Are they gonna sell Funko Pops now? Yeah, they already do. Like, you go into a GameStop and it's like a hot topic. They just sell random t-shirts of games that you don't really care about, and they got Master Chief Soy Jack Funko Pop. And then he raises this point: if you want physical games, you better buy them up now, because it's gonna be like having an illegal firearm. Seriously, you think that the government's gonna knock on your door and be like, hey, I heard you have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2017 remake on the disc? That's really fucked up, dude. You should be really ashamed of yourself. And it's almost like it's just engagement farming at this point, because you have comments like this: do not buy them from PlayStation, they won't be backwards compatible. Why are you rewarding a company that's cut off your freedom? Dude, you don't have to buy video games. Like, you just don't. No one's cutting off your freedom. If you don't want digital-only games, you don't have to buy digital-only games. But this whole mentality of thinking that you just deserve all of the features in a product that you want, it's an unhealthy mentality to have, because it's just completely out of your control. Now, you can raise your voice and, you know, raise concern over something that you're concerned about, and that's probably what's going to happen. I'm sure Asha Sharma's going to come out and be like, guess what? You know, the new Xbox is going to have physical game adaptation and capabilities and whatnot, and everyone's gonna be so happy and be like, oh my god, Xbox is back. It's all a game, ladies and gentlemen. And on another note, like, what the fuck happened to this guy? This guy goes into GameStop with his entire Xbox 360 game collection. He's got like every game, and I guess he wants a PlayStation. He wants the new PlayStation, so he just sells all of his physical media. Like, this I agree with. That is screwed up. That is messed up. You gotta keep hold on the physical media, because it is cool. So he goes in, he sells it all for $1,000 in-store credit. That's unheard of. I've never heard GameStop offer in-store credit over like $70. You could trade in Pokemon Black 2 into the GameStop, and they'll give you like a Funko Pop. But hey, you know, he's an adult, I'm an adult. He made his adult decision in selling all of his cool games for a new PlayStation and PlayStation 5 games. So the final piece of news that I must discuss for News for the Unemployed is CERN. Now, CERN is this crazy technological advancement in which scientists smash protons together to create events like the Big Bang and just record what happens. I am not a physicist. I am not a polymathematician. I am Snugbro TV, anchor for News for the Unemployed. I just report what I see on X. I'm not here to give a crazy take on what CERN actually is. So from this technological advancement, we have other advancements within our society, such as improved medical imaging, radiation cancer therapies, as well as heavy industrial computing. It's basically like the ultimate trump card tool in trying to find out what the universe is, how antimatter works, and yeah, we're just smashing protons together and seeing what happens. Oh god, what's the worst that could happen with that? Well, let's go on Twitter. Let's see what the smart people on Twitter have to say. And basically, the theory behind CERN is that it's responsible for all of the crazy bullshit that happens on our planet with regards to the economy, with regards to our daily life. This guy points out CERN first fired up in 2008. Within days, Wall Street collapsed and the world was thrown into the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Then CERN entered its first major shutdown in 2013. Within 24 hours, a massive meteor exploded over Russia in one of the most powerful impacts in human history. Then CERN entered its next biggest shutdown between these years, and then we got COVID and lockdowns and supply chain meltdown and all of that sort of jazz. This guy says that considering the fact CERN shut down the Large Hadron Collider until 2030, the following things are going to happen. The rate of time will change. I reckon it'll go back to how it was before COVID, which means time might actually move slower, so days will be longer, years too. I don't really get that point. I understand, you know, time moves by fast. I've also grown like 5 years, 6 years older, 6-7 years older. And I understand that as we get older, as we potentially maybe submit ourselves to daily routines, that's what accelerates time. So honestly, that's a very anecdotal thing to say, but that's what we do on News for the Unemployed. We give the takes that the mainstream media are not even going to entertain. The mainstream media is just going to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. You can't look into that, even though we've been covering up Epstein for who knows how long, even though we've been covering up aliens since Roswell. Oh, you can't question anything. Oh, it's all science. You gotta you're questioning the science. This guy also made a great point. CERN shut down yesterday, and there's already Sobeys at 7-Eleven. I don't even know what that is. If it's good, let me know. If you've tried Sobe before, let me know. I guess, I guess the elites just did not want this to happen. That's why they activated the CERN machine anyways. CERN finally shut the machine down until 2030. That can mean only one thing: our actual ages, metabolisms, hairline, credit scores, and pre-2012, 2019 personality should be returning within 3 to 5 business days. What the fuck are you talking about? Honestly, what the fuck are you talking about? This is all within your control. This is a very dangerous mentality to have, because now you're surrendering your entire soul to something that you don't even really know is true, but still it's just completely out of your control. Honestly, if you believe that CERN has such an impact over your lives, you've already lost the battle. They want you to believe that CERN has this much impact over your entire livelihood. They want you to believe that you don't have control within your own mood and life and whatnot. And I understand that shit happens, man. We all go through shit, but don't blame it all on some sort of antimatter experimental device. So this is the CERN opening ceremony in Switzerland in 2016. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is actually the opening ceremony, but that's some demonic shit. All right, that is very demonic. That is very I get bad juju from looking at this. We've got the goat horns. We've got all the symbolism. It's very much, at least the artists are satanic. I'll just call it out as it is. That's pretty fucking weird. And then potentially you had the CERN experiments that were conducted in 2019 opening up a portal to another dimension entirely. Einstein theorized that there's 12 dimensions. There's a theory that the second dimension is demonic, and then there's a theory that the fourth and etc. dimensions are much more, I guess, spiritually ascending dimensions. But I think we're grasping at straws. I hate to say it, we're grasping at straws that we don't actually know are straws, if that makes any sense. But to summarize it best by Mark Hernandez, literally everyone is talking about this right now. CERN just shut down Collider, Wall Street crash, huge meteor crash, pandemic, strawberry moon, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It's the closing of a timeline, a reality reset, a sacred pause. Expect something strange. I do think something strange is going to happen within the next decade. It's just bound to happen, whether it's the emergence of an AI god, like an antichrist sort of figure. I'm not trying to get too religious into this discussion. I'm just trying to raise points that people might not normally consider when they analyze these things. And yeah, that's honestly, that's news for the unemployed. That's your dose of news. We got CERN, we got the PlayStation, and supposedly the console wars basically ending or transitioning into a new era. And we got Trump, saying he'll declassify aliens, but there's ultimately a lot of levels above the presidency that kind of dictates whether or not that news actually releases. So what do you make of this? I don't know. And it's a crazy episode, news for the unemployed. But the only thing I have to say is take everything that I said about CERN with aliens, take it with a grain of salt. I'm on Twitter, I'm reading tweets, I'm going through X just so that you don't have to, because there's a lot of bullshit on X. And when you lead your life, when you lead your understanding through the perspective of X, that's when you might have problems interacting with actual reality, because actual reality is kind of fun in some regards. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is news for the unemployed. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.